Good morning everyone. I am here to report about the National Building Code of the Philippines or PD 1096. Rule number 9, the fire resistive requirements in construction, and rule number 10, the building projection over public streets. Rule number 9, the fire resistive requirement in construction. So first, let us identify what is fire resistive. So fire resistive, immune to the effect of exposure to fire of a certain specified severity and duration. So for example, door. If a door is on fire, there is a specific duration of time before it become to ashes. So ibig sabihin, pag ang portahan is masunog, whether baga siya or nipis, na ay specific time na siya. Press ko lang ang gina-advertise na mga gamit, specifically kanang mga gamit ng kanang gamitonon jud sa pag-construct, like door, window, glass, og tela, or what na siya ginasulti ang mga salesperson na ma'am or sir, fire resistive ni siya na gamit. So dili ni basta-basta masunog. So things like that has a specific duration of time. Tapos napod siya specific severity. So it's either baga siya or nipis. So section 601 is fire resistive rating defined. So fire resistive rating means the degree to which a material can withstand fire as determined by general recognized and accepted testing methods. So as I said kanina, ang mga gamit na siya specific duration of time. So pag halimbawa, gisalang sila or gitas sila, dira na to mabalaan ang fire resistive rating sa isa ka bagay. Then ibutang nato siya sa iyang specific type of fire resistive. So na siya 5 type of resistive. So pilian na siya whether type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, or type 5 na siya na bagay. Section 602, the fire resistive time period rating. So mao ning gihapon ni siya akong giingon gaina. For example is door. Gina-examine nila or ginatest na nila with a specific severity and duration of time. So sa fire resistive time period rating, diri na to mabala ng iyang time length sa gamit. So if they maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, or even 4 hours, etc. So diri na to mabalaan kung asa siya mabilong na duration of time. So section 603, the fire resistive standards. So all materials of constructions and types of materials and assemblies or combinations thereof shall conform to be the following fire resistive ratings. So sa diri sa fire resistive standards, diri na tumabalan ang mga materials of construction and type of materials kung pag itest na to is mabilong mo siya sa specific duration of time, which are 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. As you can see, makita na to ang mga materials o asa sila nabilong sa specific duration of time. So section 604, the fire resistive regulations. So dili lang man jud ta mag-base lang sa duration of time, sa severity, na pud regulation when it comes sa fire resistive. So the secretary shall prescribe standards and promulgate rules and regulations on the testing of construction materials for flame spread characteristics, tests on fire damage, fire tests of building construction and materials, door assemblies, and tinkled fire doors and windows assemblies, the installation of fire doors and windows and smoke and fire detectors to fire protective signaling system, application and use of controlled interior finish, fire resistive protection for structural members, fire resistive walls and partitions, fire resistive floor or roof ceiling, fire resistive assemblies to protection of opening and fire retardant roof coverings. Rule number 10, which is the building projection over public streets. Section 1001, General Requirements the for the building projection over public streets. So no part of any building or structure or any of its appendages shall project beyond the building line except as provided herein. The projection of any structure or appendage over a public property shall be the distance measured horizontally from the property line to the outermost point of the projection. So, specific na measurement gikan sa projection over the public property. Section 1002, projection into alleys or streets. So no part of any structure or its appendage shall project into any alleys or street, national road or public highways except as provided in the code. So, dili ka pwede magbutang og projection sa specific na public street or alleys kay dili na nimo siya maagian kung magbutang pa kadra og projection. So another meaning of specific measurement para makabutang ka sa projection. So footings located at least 2.40 meters below grade along national roads or public highway may project not more than 300 millimeter beyond the property line, provided that said projection shall not obstruct any existing utilities or services such as power, water, sewer, gas, communication, and drainage lines, and etc., unless the owner concerned shall pay the corresponding entities for the rerouting of the part of the affected utilities. So foundation may be permitted to encroach into public sidewalk areas to a wide not exceeding 500 millimeters, provided that the top of the said foundation is not less than 600 millimeters below the establishing grade, and provided further that said projection shall not obstruct any existing utilities and services such as power, water, sewer, gas, communication, and drainage line, etc., unless the owner concerned shall pay the corresponding entities for the rerouting of the part of the affected utilities. So, Section 1003, the projection of balconies and appendages over streets ideas. So, halimbawa is nagpuyo ka, doon lang sa street, tapos need mo ay naka-idea ka og balconies, napod gihapon siya corresponding measurement beyond the public street. So, the extent of any projection over an alley or street shall be uniform within the block and shall conform to the limitation set forth in this table. So, wide of streets and the total projection. So, makita nimo dira ang measurement sa street, tapos imuhang gusto na measurement sa imuhang balconies. So the clearance between the established grade of the street and or sidewalk and the lowest undersurface of any part of the balcony shall not be less than 3 meters. So dili dapat siya mag-exceed sa 3 meters kay under the law gapon na siya. In case the projection is a neon sign and the like, the same shall not be in accordance with the rule number 20, which is signs. Section number 1004, arcades. So, arcade is in architecture is a series of arches carried by columns or piers, a passageway between arches and a solid wall or a covered walkway that provides access to adjacent shop. So, ang arcades daw is nag uh, mm, na siya series of arches that carried column or piers. So, naa siya specific measurement sa iyahang so, whenever required by existing building and zoning regulations, arcades shall be constructed on sidewalk or street. So, ang arcades lang daw is nala siya sa kilid, sa sidewalk or sa street. Ay constructed sa sidewalk or sa street. The width of the arcade and its height shall be uniform throughout the street, provided that in no case shall an arcade be less than 3 meters. So 3 meters gapon ang iyang ang iyang length above the established sidewalk grade. Arcade pedestrian walkways shall have a clear height of 3 meters. Driveway crossing arcade pedestrian walkway shall be at the same level with that of the arcade of the safety of the pedestrian. Section 1005, the canopies or marques. So, a canopy is an overhead roof structure that has open sides. Canopies are typically intended to provide shelter from the rain or sun, but may also be used for decorative purposes or to give emphasis to a root or part of a building. The horizontal clearance between the outermost edge of the marquee and the curb line shall not be less than 300 mm. The vertical clearance between the pavement or ground line and the undersurface of any part of the marquee shall not be less than 3 meters. So, mao ni siya ang example sa arches kanang naa sa babaw, which is roof structure siya above a door or halimbawa above a building. Pero pag diri sa ato ang asa ko ang report is above the street or above the basta ang length niya is 3 meters lang siya. Section 1006, a movable awnings or hoods. So, a horizontal clearance between the awning and the curb line shall not be less than 300 millimeters. Again, the vertical clearance between the outermost surface of the awning and the pavement or ground line shall not be less than 2.40 meters. Collapsible awning shall be so designated that they shall not block a required exit when collapsed or folded. An architectural fabric projection shall provide weather protections, identity, or decoration is fully supported by a building to which it is attached. An awning is comprised of a lightweight frame structure over which cover is attached. So, naay awning na nakabuild lang na siya, pero dapat ang iyang measurement is nasa 2.4 the pavement of the ground line shall not be less than 2.4 and the horizontal clearance between the awning and the curb line shall not be less than 300 mm. So nagyapan siya specific line, specific measurement when it comes to pagbutang sa awning. Section 1007, doors, windows, and the likes. So, doors, windows, and the likes less than 2.4 meters above the pavement or ground line shall not, when fully opened or upon opening, project beyond the property line exceeds except for exit. So makita niyo sa example is ang door dire is dikit kay siya sa wall, and then ang ihang specific measurement is nasa 2.40 meters. And yeah. Section 1008, the corner buildings with chaflans. Every corner building or solid fence on a public street and or alleys less than 3.60 meters in width shall be truncated at the corner. The face of the triangle so formed shall be at right angle to the bisector of the angle and the intersection of the street line, provided that in no case shall the length of the chaflans may be less than 4 meters. So mo ni siya ang nawong sa chaflan pa triangle iyang form. So the corner building or the solid wall fences to be built aborting property line or on corners of public alley or street intersection shall be provided with chaflans to afford a clear view. If the building is arcade, no chaflans is required, notwithstanding that the width of the public street or alley is less than 3.60 meters. So that's all my report. Thank you for listening.